Today we're discussing new proposed federal cybersecurity legislation and the civil liberties implications of those proposed changes. Bill C-26 was introduced in the House of Commons in June of this year, but it's received very little publicity so far. The proposed changes to the law would amend existing legislation to afford the Cabinet and the Minister of Industry additional powers. Now, cybersecurity is a very important issue for Canada from both an economic and national security perspective. Cyber warfare by hostile states, ransomware attacks by criminal organizations, and identity theft and hacking are all very important public policy issues. However, some civil liberties organizations have raised concerns about how Bill C-26 could threaten privacy rights. The organization I work for, the Canadian Constitution Foundation, is one of those organizations. How do we balance concerns over security with our civil liberties? Here today to discuss this are two experts. Brenda McPhail is the Director of Privacy Rights at the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, and Rosa Addario is Communications Manager with OpenMedia. Thank you both so much for joining me today. Rosa, let's start with you. Can you explain to me at a high level what Bill C-26 does? What are these amendments that are being proposed to pieces of legislation that already exist?
Definitely. Thanks so much for having me, Christine. So Bill C-26 is yet another fumbled attempt from our government at privacy and security legislation. So in two parts, it amends the Telecommunications Act to promote security within our telecom sector, which is, a goal we can all agree with. But it does so through an unjustified and overly expansive power from our government and our spy agencies. It also creates new legislation, the Critical Cyber Systems Protection Act, that authorizes Canada spy agencies to collect and share sensitive data about Canadians in ways that they never have before.
Brenda, is there anything you want to add to, at a high level, what these proposed changes in Bill C-26 do?
Sure. So in the new Critical Cyber Systems Protection Act, which is a mouthful, the Act basically has the very sound intention of creating a framework to provide for protecting critical cyber systems and services that are fundamentally vital to national security and public safety, as you mentioned in your intro. But it also gives federally regulated sectors and the heads of those sectors, like banking or telecom or energy infrastructure or transportation, the ability to designate services as vital and therefore require operators to create cybersecurity plans and programs, which is good. Then share that information with a wide range of actors, which is less good. Necessary sharing for cybersecurity, but no sort of framework to limit it. And a really big program of monetary administrative fines for noncompliance.
Wow. So, Rosa, your organization, OpenMedia, as well as the CCLA and my organization, the Canadian Constitution Foundation, we've all outlined, along with some others, some of our concerns with the legislation in an open letter that was sent to Public Safety Minister Marco Mendocino. Now, I want to go through some of those concerns. The first is that Bill C-26 could open the door to these new surveillance obligations for private companies. So how does the law do that, and why should we be concerned about it?
So Bill C-26 could compel private companies like internet service providers to collect evidence and information against people in Canada. Because the bill provides greater roles for Canada spy agencies and enables more data sharing, there's a concern that the data that these private companies are forced to provide on their customers will be used in untold and unseen ways that are completely unprecedented. And this would all occur outside of the normal parameters of democratic accountability. So we're looking at no parliamentary oversight, no accountability, and very limited regular judicial oversight. And far too much is only within the hands of the industry minister and our government.
Brenda, we've only got about 30 seconds. Anything you want to add to that surveillance obligation on private companies?
I think the wording of the bill is really instructive. It allows the government to secretly order telecommunication providers to do anything or refrain from doing anything the minister thinks is necessary. That's a very broad scope.
Yeah, and I think it would leave a lot of people concerned.